Hello everyone, this is Stractify 500. Welcome back to our perspective drawing series. We are in the midst of 1-point perspective, and we still have a few things to cover here. This video today, we are covering one point and 2-point perspective in one composition, okay? So in one composition, we're gonna combine 1-point and 2-point perspective. We're gonna see how that works. We're going to see how you handle that. And before I jump right in, this diagram that you see in front of you, I wanted to use it to explain a few things. So as a general rule, just want you to understand a few things when approaching any composition where you have to deal with multiple perspective techniques that you're going to be using in that drawing. So these are two sets of drawings. So this is, well, it's the same setup, but from different points of view. So this is one setup where we have our observer, the person looking at these objects, and basically I've drawn them, even though these are going to be boxes that will eventually be three-dimensional or be drawn in perspective. Here I've presented them as just flat two-dimensional objects that this guy is approaching and looking at, and we're going to talk about how these objects usually appear to somebody who's looking at them. And then in this drawing, it's the same as this, it's just the side view to help understand things a little better. So we have this big tall object that's directly in front of him, and then there's these two rectangles that are off to the side, and then a few other rectangles that are off to the side as well, okay? And basically that's what's going on here, and this basically represents how far apart they are. Like here you can see how far apart they are laterally. Here you can see how far apart they are, like one is further in front of the other, and this is further in front of this, okay? So this object is further behind, this object is further in front, and these are it's the same person but two different positions in this particular diagram, so we'll talk about that. So generally, the guy standing here about at this general distance looking directly at this object will generally see this object in a 1-point perspective configuration, okay? So this he will see, the way it'll look to him will be in 1-point perspective, okay? So he's looking directly at it. He'll probably just see the big square. He probably won't even see the sides. It's just directly in front of him. And to get a good idea of that, I guess grab a book or a square object or a box and just hold it directly in front of you and just look at how it's shaped, okay? And you'll see what I'm talking about. So this will probably most likely be in 1-point perspective, or probably just be a flat looking rectangle. These two boxes will most likely be in 1-point perspective as well, except you'll probably see the sides a little bit and maybe the top, depending on how tall these boxes are, where they are on his eye level. So if they're below his eye level, then you'll definitely see the top. If they're on his eye level or on the horizon line or straddling the horizon line, then he will see it the way we've drawn things in other perspective techniques. And then if it's above, of course, if it's flying or whatever, then he'll probably just see the bottom of the box. But it'll most likely be in 1-point perspective as well because of his proximity to it, okay? Now, if this man approaches, let's say he comes like right here at this point and is looking at this object, obviously it's taller than him, then the configuration it'll take, or the viewpoint it'll take, his point of view will see it as a 3-point perspective viewpoint. or let me say that better. He will see this object in 3-point perspective. If he moves up close and he's right up close to it, even if he's standing, he'll see it in 3-point perspective. If he gets, say, on his knees or even lies down on the ground and looks up at it and he's right here, it'll definitely be in 3-point perspective. Now, bringing him back to this exact spot, which is this spot right here, everything I just explained is where this guy is at, looking at everything he sees here, right? So this will be in 1-point perspective, this will be in 1-point perspective. These two, which are further out, and then if we push them out a little further, will definitely be in 2-point perspective. Okay? If he's standing here, if he's standing here. Okay, and then the example I gave of 3-point perspective of him standing here, that's this guy, and then this guy will probably see this in the same way as well, but if I bring him, say, here or any closer, this starts to become 3-point perspective. This will probably be in 2-point and 2-point. This could possibly start to be in 3-point as well. Okay, so that's the general overview of how to approach this, what to sort of expect. But as you experiment and as you continue to practice drawing using these techniques, you will find other things start to happen, depending on how you turn things around and you move the camera, move the position of the viewer, all that kind of stuff. So, but starting things off, that's what you basically need to understand before you start getting super adventurous with the perspective drawing technique. So let's go ahead and get started and start with combining 1-point and 2-point perspective. So what I'm going to do is start with 1-point perspective, and I will place the vanishing point here. And here is my sketch. So this is just so that you can get an idea of what I'm going for. So this is what I'm going for right here. So this wall is going to be in 1-point perspective. Okay, and then all the other boxes that are within that space are going to be in 2-point perspective. In general, whenever I'm combining, whenever I'm combining perspective drawing techniques, in general, I usually like to have my backgrounds, do my backgrounds either in 1-point perspective and then have everything else be in 2-point perspective, or I have my background in a 3-point perspective setup and then use 1-point and 2-point and build up the space in that manner from there. So, but in this case, we're going to start with 1-point, and we're going to start with that wall. And what I'm doing, let me just show the diagram again. Should have zoomed out. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm placing this wall right here, placing this wall, I'm having that wall straddle the horizon line. Okay, so all right, let me just do it. Stop yapping so much. Let me zoom out some more. There we go. All right, that should do the trick. All right, let's get started. All right, here's my vanishing point. We'll just call it A, vanishing point A for right now. And I am going to, let's see. Let me do this. Be a little technical about it. do is I'm going to do this in color, start with light blue. Okay, so let me just reestablish those. All right, so I'm beginning with the construction of our back wall. Where is my, there we go. This in a little bit because I want to expand out this way a little. So let me bring it in this far. So the wall that comes out this way, will be that thick. That'll be the thickness of the wall. All right, and if that's not making sense, it'll make sense in a minute. And let me just eyeball that thickness real quick. Okay, so we've got that and that. So what I'll do is from vanishing point A, well, let me keep it straight so that, let me start from vanishing point A through this what's going to be the first corner. I'm going to strike a line. And I will do the same. Let me bring this down a little bit so it can be seen when we turn it, so it can be seen a little more clearly. Like that. And that. All right, then I'm gonna, height of that wall, that part of the wall will be here. Double line there. All right, and okay, so there's our wall. So there it is. It's the end of the wall right there. And we have, so let's do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna need that to be a little longer. Should have used my long ruler, but and I am going to make sure they're the same height. So that I'm going to establish the top of that wall. Okay. Come on. Did I do this right? Okay. You know what I did? The optical illusion is getting to me. So just line this up. There we go. For a second there, this looked higher, much higher than this, and didn't look as if I was going to get a parallel. Okay, so let me just reinforce it a little bit, or there we go. So here is our back wall. Okay, just make sure I darken some of those edges, some of those corners, so that you can see them a little more clearly, so that I can see them a little more clearly, so I don't get things mixed up as we move forward. Okay, so that's our 1-point perspective wall back there. All right. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to set up the, let's see, what color am I using? I'm going to use green. That was the plan, green. There we go. For the 2-point perspective boxes. So, and I will mark the vanishing points in green. So that'll be VP1. And I'm going to do a little something here, which I'm going to cover a little bit more in Conavision video, the second Conavision video. So I am going to strike that line. I'm not going to put the second line just yet, okay? But then what I'm going to do, let's see. This is going to be where my box ends, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, and I'm going to strike a right angle. Strike a line that's a right angle to this, to the horizon line. And that'll give me my second vanishing point, okay? And basically what I'm getting here is sort of like an axis, which will be the corner of my box. So I'll just put it down like that. Okay? So what I'm gonna do now is come here, don't need this anymore, make sure this doesn't get lost. Bring this up a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see that clearly. So I'm going to strike that line, and then I'm going to come here, bring this so. Okay, that's VP1 and VP1. Same pair of vanishing points. Okay, so I'll explain this some more I guess I'll get into it some more or repeat it in the Conavision, in the second Conavision video. But when you put that line down and when you put this, the radiating line, the first radiating line from your vanishing point, when you lay that down and then at the point that your box is going to end or start, depending on how you look at it, you strike another line up that's a 90-degree angle, and that line gives you your second vanishing point. And basically what's happening is that the box that you draw that comes out of this is pretty much guaranteed to be a 90-degree foreshortened box. Like the foreshortening is you're building into that box that very square 90-degree angle, but it's foreshortened by the perspective. Okay, and you're making sure that that's like baked into the object that you're drawing. Okay. All right, let me continue. Let's no, that's not what I want to do. Let me bring this down. Okay, so that's already there as an axis, whereas the corner's already been placed. Okay, and I'm going to make that the height of my box. All right, so let me make sure you guys can see that. Again, this is 90 degrees, so we're incorporating that into the perspective. That's my height. And take that back to the vanishing point. No, it's not off at all. All right, so there we have it. Sure that's in place. So let me go ahead and draw the other box, which I'm going to place up here. Okay. So this belongs to this pair. I'll switch to orange and draw another pair. And this time I am going to place, we'll call this VP2. Come on. There we go. VP2. And I am going to place the, I'm going to place that vanishing point. Let's place the vanishing point way over here. Let's see what we get. VP2. Okay, so this time I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the box, and I'm going to start from the top of the box. Like so. I'm going to end it right there. So the next line, oh, silly me. Okay, let's scratch this for right now, because I was only supposed to start with one, so I'm going to put that up there. This doesn't count anymore. We're just working with this. We're going to get our vanishing point from this. I got ahead of myself. Sorry about that. And so I'm going to turn it upside down so I can really access that line. Oh boy, hopefully I didn't go, I don't think I did. There we go. In fact, I don't need the big, I need the big ruler, but not the big triangle. Okay, 90 degrees. That 90 degrees angle gives me the other vanishing point right there. So we'll just call, that'll be the new VP2. All right. And of course, I'm going to have an axis sort of eyeballing it here that goes down like that. All right, let's see what we get. Again, I'm turning the paper around a little bit here just to access certain parts of the drawing. If that bothers you, let me know in the comments if that's sort of like a distraction. I don't think it is. I don't think it will bother you guys that much, but if it does, let me know. And for the most part, you can always rewind and freeze and pause and all that kind of stuff to see what's going on in case there's any confusion. But I do want to make sure you guys fully understand what's going on. So just let me know and I'll do what I can to improve things. Bring this up a little bit. All right, so that's going to be the let's see, where do I want to end this box? I guess I do want it to overlap a little bit, so overlap the back wall. So we'll do that. Then we'll come here and connect the corners accordingly. far corner, which will give me this corner. Whoops. My pen slipped a little bit. Sorry about that. And then that. Yeah, it's sort of blending in with this line. Okay, but I'll put it in there anyway so you guys can see it. All right, so let me go ahead and darken those boxes, starting with the orange one using red. You know, I have to say, I have never drawn with red pens or with colored pens as much as I've drawn with them working on this series. Every now and then I use some colored pens here and there, but this is probably the first time I've worked with colored pens drawing, colored ballpoint pens drawing this, like, this is the first time I've done it this much, this frequently. So by the time I'm through, I'll be really good at it. I like the way they look. I like the way they turn out. I don't know if they're permanent though. I mean, these days, the ink in ballpoint pens are more permanent than they used to be, but they do tend to fade. So I'll have to check on that somehow. Yeah, because drawing with a ballpoint pen is kind of fun. I do like it. There's a cartoonist I know who has a YouTube channel that I subscribe to, and he draws with ballpoint pens all the time. Like fills up notebooks with them. There we go. All right. So with that done, let me go ahead and darken the blue background so that that can be seen clearly. And since it's done in light blue, the construction work should show right through. Should be able to see that with no problem. So you can just go through the video, pause it at certain points, zoom into the picture, and study whatever it is you need to study. Because that is the point of these videos. It's for you guys to come back and, you know, use it as a resource. Yeah, that'll do the trick. So let me get these foreshortened lines. Radiating lines, foreshortened lines, or foreshortening lines. I'm going to use those interchangeably. I feel as if I went off camera for a second when I'm at the bottom of the page when I was drawing. Apologies for that. I'll be done in a second. You guys will see the whole thing. All right, and just go ahead. This does span the whole thing, so I don't have to use the long ruler. So what I will do Since the red box cuts in there, I will make sure I indicate that. You still have the light blue construction line in there, so I don't think it'll look weird or anything like that. There we go. All right. That turned out okay. I like the way that turned out. So there is your 1-point perspective wall. Okay, and again, it's straddling the horizon line. Okay, that's done on purpose because I guess I just wanted a sense of stability or whatever. I just really wanted to keep things kind of simple. And then right in front of it, you have your 2-point perspective boxes. And then also I've incorporated the use of the right angle, like straight, like use when I take the line from my first vanishing point and take it down to establish my second vanishing point. I make sure this line is at a right angle, and then I continue from there with the second radiating line from each vanishing point and continue to build a box from there. So I incorporated that into both this 2-point perspective box and this 2-point perspective box. So give it a try and get a feel for how that works, and let me know if you like building that, taking that into consideration, that little technical detail. And yeah, try this out for yourself and see what you come up with. This is Stractify 500, where I explore concepts and techniques with drawing and composition, and with plans to expand and apply some of these techniques to future projects. I will see you in the next video where I get into 2-point perspective and 3-point perspective in the same composition. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, spread the word. Take care.